What's up, guys? Welcome to 4th and 25 with J Ram. Hope you're having a wonderful day out there. Hope you're staying safe. Looks like summer's decided to bring its head back in here and torture us again. But no. Hope you're having a great day. We got a lot to get into this week. We'll recap some college ball. We'll talk some pro ball. First things first, this caught my attention last week, and I wanted to just kind of briefly talk about it. Looks like major changes are coming to the transfer portal again. The NCAA FBS Oversight Committee voted to eliminate the spring window and move to a one window in January. The portal would open, it looks like, on January 2nd, right after the CFP quarterfinals are complete. It will be a 10-day window. The D1 Administrative Committee must approve the legislative changes before it takes effect. The vote is expected to occur before October 1st, which isn't far around the corner. Committee is also proposing making the entire month of December a recruiting dead period. Coaches would still be able to have contact with recruits, but would not be permitted to do on or off campus recruiting visits or evaluations. FBS coaches voted unanimously to support the proposal during the AFCA convention earlier this year. To me, this is a good idea. The coaches, I think, are mostly on board now. Ryan Day of Ohio State has already came out and said he does not like it. I think some of his fellow Big Ten colleagues probably feel the same way. At least that's what he proclaims. But with the way it had been going, recent years, the portal opened for underclassmen transfers in early December following conference championships, bowl selections. In 2024 and 2025, the winter portal window was December 9th through the 28th, and then there was a spring window for 9 days in April, which was ridiculous. I'm just going to be honest. I think that's too much. But the collision of transfer transactions, coaching changes, high school signing day, bowl games, and the CFP made it a huge source of frustration for head coaches. Just to kind of give you an example of what they dealt with. Last year, Penn State and SMU had backup quarterbacks that they lost to the portal while they were still in the playoff, guys. And the one that probably angered me the most, at least, was Marshall had to opt out of their bowl game because they didn't have enough players to compete due to departures brought by a head coaching change when Charles Huff left for Southern Miss. But it's a one-time window, January 2nd. It'll be 10 days. Hopefully this will pass fine, and hopefully it'll go into effect. I think this will be great. It'll help coaches. They can finish more on finishing their seasons, and they can move forward. Let's see. The elimination of the spring window, if approved, will be welcomed by coaches, but could come under scrutiny and perhaps legal challenges for restricting the transfer movement of athletes. I hope it doesn't come to that. I'm just going to be honest, because these players need to learn. I mean, you got to make choices. You shouldn't be able to, in my opinion, you shouldn't be able to just go and move all the time. You got to learn to deal with your decisions. You can't just be pampered and be able to do everything you want just because you don't get your way. Okay, I'm transferring. I mean, there's got to be rules and guidelines to this. Coaches are frustrated and they need to be able to run their programs. So I'm all for this. I think it's a great idea, and I hope it works. Okay, moving on. Next up, I wasn't going to talk about this, but the AP poll came out, and it's been a source of frustration. A lot of the actual legitimate good college football writers and media people who I respect and love listening to, people who are actually credited to do this, have sourced their frustration with it. There's a video of a lady, I can't remember her name, but she's been getting ridiculed. From what I understood, she put Florida 3 spots higher than what they were, and remember, Florida just lost to South Florida, so she's been taking a beating. So I've got the AP poll put up right here. See, South Florida is 18th. Missouri and Auburn. Let's see. All right, I'm gonna hold it right here. Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, LSU 3, Oregon 4, Miami 5. I think Miami's maybe too low. I don't know. Georgia, Texas, Notre Dame, Illinois, Florida State. That's your top 10. 11 through 15, you got South Carolina, Clemson, Oklahoma, Iowa State, Tennessee. Okay. 16 through 20 is A&M, Ole Miss, South Florida, Bama, Utah. 21st through 25, Texas Tech, Indiana, Michigan, Auburn, and Missouri. Okay, so not too bad. But if we got people doing these polls and have votes on this stuff and they don't even watch the games, they don't even know what happened, why? I mean, if you cover a team, that's fine. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I've seen people trying to make it a sexist thing. I think that's pathetic. But as long as you watch the games and knows what happens, okay, fine. But do your job right. Don't just make a poll just because you have the right to, in my opinion. So anyway, she's been taking a beating for that. Hopefully the AP poll will get straightened out down the road. Okay, so let's take a look at week 2 of the college football season. Is in the books. We're going to go through a few games. Obviously not quite the strong slate that we had in week 1, but there were still some good games. And these are the kind of weeks that'll sneak up on you if you go in there with that, it's a sleepy weekend, because we had some surprises. But anyway, this one was fun. NC State beat Virginia 35-31. Virginia blows a 10-point lead in the second half. C.J. Bailey of NC State threw for 200, a score, had 44 rushing yards. He scored 2 scores, played really, really well. Hollywood Smothers of NC State, really good running back. He put on a good show. 17 carries for 140 yards, 2 scores, 8.2 a carry. This game was fun. Shout out to Jamari Taylor of Virginia, though. In the loss, he still had 150 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. Virginia actually outgained NC State 514 to 420. But this was a fun game. It did not count in the ACC standings. They are ACC schools, but this is a non-con series. But hey, this was a good game. Shout out to NC State. They got Wake Forest coming up Thursday night. That should be a big one. All right, moving on. Our next stop. Go ahead and hit the funeral music for this one, because this was about as ugly as it gets. Oregon, oh my God, 69-3. Whew. They might be still scraping Oklahoma State off of the field in Eugene, for all I know. This was bad, really bad. This was a splattering. 631 to 211 in total yards. This was just bowl and shoe ugly. I believe it was 49-3 at halftime. Mike Gundy made his little comments. Oregon didn't take too kind to him. That lit gas on the fire. But Mike Gundy, it might be time to hang it up, brother. I loved it. I like Coach Gundy, but man, oh man, this was bad. 69-3. What does that say about the Big 12? Whew. I know Oklahoma State's down this year, but it was down last year. Had a bad year last year. But this is usually one of your flagship programs, and they just lost by 66. Oh my God. All right, next up. Oh, wait, wrong one. All right, next up. Okay, Troy and Clemson. I made note of this one. Clemson wins 27-16. This game was 16-3 Troy at the half. Now, the second half, it was all Clemson. Klubnik looked bad. Clemson did not look good at all. Really bad start. They cannot afford to continue to play like this. You lose to LSU. You have a bad start against Troy. It was terrible. They got Georgia Tech coming up. They better clean it up quick. All right, next up. Illinois. This was impressive. It was close at halftime, but Illinois woke up in the second half. 45-19 over Duke. A good Duke team. But Duke, 5 freaking turnovers. You're not going to win games with 5 turnovers. Kudos to Illinois for forcing the 5 turnovers. Luke Altmaier throws for 296, 3 touchdowns. Hank Betty of Illinois has 128 yards on 8 catches, a rushing touchdown. Illinois looks good, guys. This is a good physical team. They can score, they can stop. They're very opportunistic. So keep an eye on them. They've got Indiana coming up next week to start Big Ten play. So definitely keep your eye on the Illini. Okay, next up. This was awesome. This game was crazy. It was wild. Let me find it. Oh. The upset of the weekend, Mississippi State takes down top 15 Arizona State. I think they were number 12. 24-20. That crowd in Starkville was insane, man. That was a great atmosphere. Great setting. State rocking the black uniforms. State builds a 17-0 lead. Arizona State does rally to get a 20-17 lead. A beautiful 58-yard touchdown pass by Blake Shapen to Brennan Thompson with about 30 seconds left to win the game. That was wild, man. Great atmosphere. I'm an Ole Miss fan, yes, but I also love the good moments of college football, and this was a good one. This was a great game. The crowd was phenomenal, so I tip my hat to my rivals in Starkville. They earned that. Great win for them. They've been through football hell for the last couple of years since Leach's passing, and they deserve this. That was awesome. Congrats to them. This is Mississippi State's first top 15 non-con win since 1991. First win over a top 15 team that was in non-conference action, a top 15 non-con opponent since 1991, guys. That is insane. Shapen finishes with 279 and 3 scores. Brennan Thompson, 6 catches for 133 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mississippi State's a lot improved from where they were last year, which, of course, last year was just about as bad as it gets. But they're physical. They can hit you in the mouth. I like what Shapen's doing. The offense is there for Lebby. Awesome job. Great win for State. They got Alcorn coming up. Arizona State has Texas State as they look to rebound. This doesn't, of course, this doesn't kill Arizona State. They've got all their goals still in front of them, but they'll have to bounce back quickly. All right. Oh, boy. Poor Florida. Billy Napier, welcome back to the hot seat, my man. Take a swig of the Zevia. South Florida, 18. Florida, 16. Good Lord. Kudos to South Florida. 2 games, 2 wins over 2 ranked opponents. You destroyed Boise, and then you go in the swamp and you beat the Gators. Holy cow. Mac Harris of South Florida at linebacker, good game for him. He had 10 tackles, 4 solos. He got a big sack. Byron Brown, 329 total yards. He threw a touchdown. Florida, 11 penalties, 4 of 12 on 3rd down. A costly penalty for spitting on a South Florida player. What is it with players and want to spit on each other now? It's crazy. Oh, boy. Napier, back to the hot seat talk, of course. And unless you live under a rock, you've seen what Florida's got coming up. LSU's coming up. Miami's coming up. Texas A&M's coming up. Mississippi State's coming up. It's only going to get more brutal for the Gators. Is Napier on borrowed time now? I'm not going to make that assumption. I'm not an expert. Florida's got LSU this weekend, so in Baton Rouge. So good luck, Gators. Congrats to South Florida. Alex Golesh doing a great job there. They're at Miami this weekend. All right. Our next one. Let's go to this dandy. Iowa State beats Iowa 16-13. Low scoring game. Not a lot of offense. When is it not close between these two? Excuse me. What a game. Back and forth. Low scoring. Rocco Beck continues to be clutch. This is such a great rivalry game. I love this game every year. It never fails to deliver. Iowa State's kicker, Kyle Conradi, hits the game-winning field goal. This is Iowa State's first home win in the series since 2011. I had no idea about that. Iowa State with 3 sacks on defense. Man, this is kind of turned into a bucket list game for me. I got to make my way up to Iowa to see this game. This is great. Great football game. Iowa State 3-0. Two of their wins, K-State and Iowa, not bad. Starting to look really, really good. Definitely a Big 12 contender. All right, next up, let's head to Waco. Let's head to Texas. This was insane. What a fun game. Baylor wins at 48-45 over SMU, double overtime. This game was wild. Sawyer Robertson throws for 440, 4 touchdowns. Josh Cameron, 9 catches, 151, couple of scores. Bryson Washington, he runs for 115 and 2 touchdowns. Has a hell of a ball game. Baylor comes back and pulls it out. They were trailing by double digits in the second half toward the end. This was a fun game. I wish these two could play every year. I'm just saying SMU should be in the Big 12, but that's just my opinion. Phenomenal game, though, back and forth. Congrats to Baylor. They needed this bounce back after the Auburn disappointment. All right, the biggest game of the weekend was in Norman, Oklahoma. Oklahoma gets it done over Michigan, 24-13. Not shocked at all. I thought Oklahoma was going to win this game anyways. John Mateer continues to just shine. The country now gets to see him. They didn't see him much at Wazoo, but he had 344 total yards, threw a score. He run for 2. Michigan was terrible on third down, 3 of 14. OU was 9 of 17. I don't have the rushing stats, but Michigan was held in check. They had one big run play of 75 yards for a touchdown. After that, they were pretty much shut down. Underwood, I don't think is Michigan's problem, but I think it's the offensive philosophy. They just got to get better at that. But Oklahoma, great defensive performance. John Mateer's the real deal. Oklahoma looks good, y'all. This is a good football team. They're going to be a force. I'm not saying they're going to win the SEC, but they're getting into the playoff. They're getting into playoff talk. But can that falter? Of course. But this is a great win for Oklahoma to start here in week 2. All right, next up, another crazy game. Mizzou beats Kansas 42-31 in the border showdown. First time this rivalry has been played since 2011. So glad to see it again. It's a damn shame it's been taken from us for so long because of realignment. But Kansas jumped up on them 21-6. Mizzou storms back. Pribula throws for 334, 3 scores. The running back duo of Jamal Roberts and Ahman Hardy, 100-plus yards apiece, a touchdown each. Man, this game was fun, though. Congrats to Mizzou. They big time win. Kansas is not a bad football team. But this was a fun game. Sorry, I got a notification about Brian Kelly over here. But this was a fun game. Mizzou gets the win, 42-31. Phenomenal win. Kansas, yeah, first loss of the year. They'll be back, though. Kansas looks good. They were just outplayed here by Mizzou. Okay. Next up, I made note of a couple of more games real quick. Guys, what is going on at Kansas State? Look at this. Army beats them 24-21. Congrats to the Black Knights. This is the same Army team that lost in overtime to Tarleton State. Now, Tarleton State's not a pushover. They're number 3 in the country in the FCS Top 25 right now. But K-State loses to Iowa State. Okay, not shocked. But struggles to beat North Dakota. And then you lose to an Army team that's not near as strong as last year's Army team. But, man, Kansas State looks like they got problems. I don't know if there's there's some miscommunications. There's mistakes. This doesn't look like a Chris Kleiman football team. It's crazy, man. But congrats to Army. Big-time win for them. Kansas State's got to rebound quickly because Big 12 play is coming back soon, and it's going to be rough if they don't get their act together. Kudos to Army, though. Big win for them. Final game I made note of. Let's give a shout-out to Vanderbilt. They beat Virginia Tech 44-20. They were trailing at one time, but in the second half, Vandy erupted. I'm not shocked because I picked Vanderbilt to win this game. But Vandy runs for 262 yards, 5 scores, and a phenomenal second half. Diego played well. Defense shut down. Brent Key's seat. This is another coach. I don't want to compare him to Billy Napier, but Brent Key, your seat's getting hot in Blacksburg. Virginia Tech fans are getting really restless with you, dude. Big time win for Vanderbilt, though. All right, so that's that. Who are my players of the week? I'm bringing this to the show starting this week. Here we go. Offense. I go Sawyer Robertson of Baylor. He throws for 440, 4 scores. Brendan Thompson of Mississippi State, 6 catches, 133, 2 scores. Hollywood Smothers of NC State, 140 rushing yards, 2 scores. And then from the G5, shout out to Chris Trayanum of Toledo. He runs for 163 and 2 scores and catches a touchdown. Toledo thumped Western Kentucky. Did not see that coming. 42-21. That's offense. All right. Defense. Chessius Howell of A&M against Utah State. He had 4 tackles, 3 sacks. Arkansas linebacker Xavier Sorey and their defensive back Julian Neal, they combined for 26 tackles, 11 solos, only half a sack, 2.5 tackles for loss. They both had an interception, and the Razorbacks win over Arkansas State. And then another duo I gave a shout out to at Louisville, linebacker TJ Quinn and D lineman Cleve Lubin. They combined for 21 tackles, 12 solos, 2.5 sacks, 2.5 tackles for loss. All right, and then Special teams. Oh, by the way, Minnesota held Northwestern State to 42 total yards, 4 turnovers forced, and 2 sacks. I know it's Northwestern State of the FCS, but man, that game was also shortened due to weather, from what I understand. Okay, special teams. Victoria Swain, I hope I said his name right. I apologize if I didn't. He had 2 punt return touchdowns for South Carolina. Kyle Conready, the Iowa State kicker, we just talked about him. 3 of 3 on field goals, long of 54, 10 points total. Penn State punter Gabriel Nowusu, 3 punts, average 53 yards, all went inside the 20, long of 67. And from the G5, I give kicker Kamari Metsuzua of Hawaii. 3 of 3 field goals, long of 42, 4 extra points, 13 points, 4 on extra points. All right, so that is a wrap on week 2 of the college football season. So we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to recap the NFL week that we had. See you guys in a minute. All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. Shout out to Josh Pate. He got me hooked on Zevia. Good soda. All right, so that's we recap week 2 of the college season. Now let's take a quick recap of what happened in the NFL as we got the NFL season underway. All right, Thursday night, Eagles beat the Cowboys 24-20. Crazy game. Jalen Carter gets ejected before the first play of scrimmage for spitting on Dak. Have not seen the replay. Supposedly Dak spit on him first. Not sure how true that is, but I have not seen the replay. Jalen Hurts, 152 yards passing, 62 rushing, 2 touchdowns. Zach Braun of the Eagles, he had 9 total tackles, 6 solos tackled for loss. This game was 21-20 at halftime. I actually thought we were going to have a shootout, but then in the second half, it turned into a little bit of a slower paced game. But Eagles hang on to get the win, 24-20. Don't really know how good to think of Dallas yet, but we'll see. All right, Friday night, as you see in Brazil, the Chargers take down the Chiefs, 27-21. That was fun. Justin Herbert, 300-plus yards, 3 touchdowns. He looked really good. Great win for the Chargers to start their season. Tampa Bay beats Atlanta 23-20. Atlanta misses a field goal at the end. Baker Mayfield being clutch like always when he ain't turning the ball over. He had a really good game. Let's see. Yeah, he threw for 167, 3 touchdowns. Atlanta held to 69 rushing yards. A little surprised by that one. Bengals beat the Browns 17-16. This game was bowling shoe ugly for the Bengals offense. I don't even think they had 200 yards of offense. Let me see. Yeah. Cleveland outgained them by a total of 327 to 141. Neither team had 50 yards rushing. That's terrible. Jordan Battle, Bengals safety, had a pick, 12 tackles. Cleveland turned the ball over twice, but Bengals offense looked terrible, man. That was awful. Defense looked good, though. They got it done. Hey, you win the game. That's what matters. Impressive statement on this next game. Colts, 33-8 over the Dolphins. Now, like I said on my winners and losers on Facebook, I could be jumping the gun. The Dolphins just could be that bad. But Daniel Jones, 272 yards, throws a touchdown, runs for 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor had 71 yards rushing. Nick Cross had 6 tackles, a sack. He played well. Indy outgains Miami 418 to 211. Miami turned the ball over 3 times. But man, what a start to the year for the Colts. This was impressive. Great job by them. Another surprise. How about the Raiders? 20-13 win over the New England Patriots on the road. Geno Smith throws for 362. Plays a phenomenal game. 17 combined penalties. Both teams had 4 sacks. Crazy game, but big win for the Raiders. Cardinals beat the Saints 20-13. As a Saints fan, that hurt, but hey, It is what it is. Came down to the end. Saints had a chance. I'm not that mad. Can't be too mad. Kyler Murray throws for 163 and 2 scores. Saints 13 penalties, 1 for 4 in the red zone. They did get 5 sacks, but lose a close one. Comes down to a 4th down stop by the Cardinals. Excuse me. Steelers beat the Jets 34-32. This was a crazy game. Aaron Rodgers returns to New York after 1 year with the Jets. He plays great. 244, 4 touchdowns. Alex Highsmith had 8 total tackles, 5 solos, and a sack for the Steelers defense. Jets outgained the Steelers 394 to 271, but that doesn't really matter. Steelers offense bailed their defense out. Great win for Pittsburgh. Commanders beat the Giants 21-6. Not a big surprise there. Jaden Daniels looks good. 233 a score, runs for 68. Bobby Wagner all over the field for the Commanders with 10 total tackles. Commanders outgained the Giants 432 to 231. Both teams struggled on third downs. Giants 416, Commanders 411. But Commanders get the win. Big game coming up Thursday night with the Packers. Jags beat the Panthers 26-10. This game, of course, had a weather delay that kind of affected it a little bit. Travis Etienne, though, 16 carries for 143 yards, 8.9 yards a carry. Panthers turned the ball over 3 times. Jags look good, but I'm not going to go too high on the Jags yet because it was the Panthers. The Panthers are terrible right now. Let's just be real. All right, late games. Broncos 20-12 over the Titans. This was a good win. Guys, Denver's defense, holy cow, that defense is incredible. Ball hawks, talent all over the place. Held the Titans to 133 yards. They only got 2 out of 14 on third downs. Forced 2 turnovers. The Broncos sacked Cam Ward 6 times. Broncos turned the ball over themselves, though, 4 times. Their offense was terrible, but the defense saved them. Denver's defense is obviously really good, but Broncos going to have to clean it up on offense when they play some of the better teams. All right, 49ers 17-13 over the Seahawks in an NFC West clash. I actually thought Seattle would win this game, but I was wrong. Brock Purdy, 277, throws 2 scores. Ricky Pearsall, 100-yard receiving game. Nick Bosa with a sack and a big fumble recovery. But a good win for the Niners. They score at the very end to pull it out, 17-13. And then maybe the biggest statement of the weekend, in my opinion, goes to the Green Bay Packers. 27-13 over Detroit in an NFC North clash. Great win for the Packers as they get their season underway. Jordan Love throws from 188, 2 touchdowns. Defense had 4 sacks. Rashawn Gary of the Packers had 1.5 of those sacks, 7 total tackles. Detroit held to 46 rushing yards. Packers look good. Defense played really well. Jordan Love looked good. Great win for Green Bay. They, in my opinion, were the biggest surprise of the weekend. Very impressive. Shutting the Lions down like they did. Now, the Lions obviously new coordinators. That could also be considered. But still, there's a lot of talent on Detroit's team. So, bad start for them. Rams beat the Texans 14-9. Low-scoring game. Stafford throws for 245 and a score. Puka Nacua, 130 yards receiving. Texans 2 for 9 on third downs. Did not look good offensively. So, Houston's got to find that rhythm that they had during C.J. Stroud's rookie season. I don't know where it is, but they got to find it. All right, Sunday night. This was insane. Bills beat the Ravens 41-40. Baltimore has a 40-25 lead with just a few minutes left, and then Buffalo roars off 16 points. Josh Allen, the league MVP, continuing to remind people why he's so good. He passes for 394, 2 scores, runs for 32 scores. These teams combined for over 900 yards of offense. Derrick Henry, I think, had close to 200 rushing yards, and they lose the game. Unbelievable. Costly fumble by him. Wow, this game was crazy. I hope these two meet again in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if they did. And then we closed out week 1. Vikings-Bears. Another crazy comeback at the very end. The Vikings win it 27-24. J.J. McCarthy, 3 total touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 running. He looked good. Javon Hargrave had 2 sacks. These teams also combined for 20-plus penalties. I thought Caleb Williams played pretty well. I thought that was the best he's looked since he's been in the NFL, in my opinion, at least from what I've seen. But Vikings get it done. Justin Jefferson catches a touchdown. Vikings pull off the win, though. Good ball game to close out what was a wild week 1 in the NFL. Phenomenal. I should have wrote this down, but winners, losers, NFL winners. Green Bay, great job. Colts look good. Raiders, I was impressed with. Steelers, I was impressed with. And then on the other side of the coin, Miami, what the heck? Cincinnati, ugh. There was another one I made note of. Oh, the Ravens and Bears. I know it's one game, but you got to quit choking games like that. That's games you should have won. But anyway, that is a wrap on week 1 of the NFL season. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, our second break, and when we come back, we're going to start picking games. We got week 3 of college football coming up. Excuse me. And then we've got NFL week 2. So let's take a break. We'll be right back.
To hate Andrew Anderson, stating truth that just can't wait. Got a podcast like a punch right to your face. College sports villain, taking it over the place. I bring the facts whether you like it or not. Dropping truth bombs, giving it all I got. They call me a villain. Well, I wear that badge with pride. Nothing but secrets they try to hide. Hard rock in my veins, rebellious to the core. I won't back down, won't take it anymore. The bad guy of the podcast world, that's me. Unleashing the truth, setting it all free. Unleashing the truth.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. All right, so we put the past weekend behind us. Now, let's make some predictions. We're going to start with our college games, of course. I've actually got a bunch of them wrote down here, but I'm just going to, for time-consuming purposes, I'm going to hit the big ones. Let's start with this ACC clash. We got Georgia Tech. We've got Clemson. 11 a.m. ESPN kickoff from Atlanta. Haynes King, Georgia Tech quarterback, did not play last week against Gardner Webb. He was dealing with some kind of an injury. I'm not exactly sure what it is, but he looks like he's on track to play for this game. He better, because they need him, and I think he will play. I don't think there's any doubt there. After 2 weeks of work, Georgia Tech 571 a game on offense, 300 pass, 271.5 rushings, 43 points a game. Defense is giving up 315 a game, 131 rushing, 184 passing. Clemson offense has looked abysmal, 288 yards a game. They have looked terrible on offense. They're 128th in the rushing game. Defense is even surprisingly, after 2 games, not great. 327 a game. They're 98th against the pass, 40th against the run. But it's early still, but Clemson's got to clean it up. Games in Atlanta, it's going to be a great atmosphere. Clemson 108th in third down percentage. Georgia Tech is 44th on third down defense, only allowing 29% conversion rate. That's pretty good. Georgia Tech leads the country in red zone offense, scoring 100% on their trips. All right. So I look for this to be a really good game. The line as of right now is Clemson at 6.5. Ooh. I'm going to go with who I trust here. I trust Dabo and Clemson, obviously, based off of these big games. I think Georgia Tech will come out stoked. I think they'll come out ready to play. I don't feel great about Clemson, but I'm not to the point yet where I think they lose games like this. I think it's closer, though, than 6.5 points. I'm going to take Clemson to win. I think it's a close game, but they're going to have to earn it. Give me Clemson to beat Georgia Tech. All right, next up, let's go to Knoxville. This is a big one. College game day is obviously going to be there. We've got Tennessee, Georgia, huge SEC showdown. Some of you older folks might be like me and still call it SEC East. I don't know. I'm bad about that. But Georgia is a 6.5 point favorite. They have not looked super great on offense. I mean, they struggled in the red zone against Austin Peay last week. including from the 1 yard line, not scoring, I think, on 5 trips or something like that. This is a 2:30 ABC game, but Georgia's averaging 454 a game on offense, 214 on the ground, 240 through the air. Their defense is 7th in the country right now, allowing 201 yards a game. I know they've played Marshall and Austin Peay, but just going by this year's body of work. They're 15th in run defense, 9th in scoring defense. Tennessee averaging 605 yards a game. But let's pump the brakes. They did play East Tennessee State last week. But this should be a good game. Trenches, I think Tennessee has improved. I think they can compete with Georgia in this department. I do think Georgia's running game is better. Joey Aguilar has been impressive since getting to Knoxville. I thought he looked great against Syracuse. And yeah, he looked good last week. Atmosphere is going to be off the page here. I think both teams are going to be amped up to go. It's my understanding Tennessee might be dealing with some injuries, though, in the secondary. That's just hearsay. I don't know for sure because I don't have their injury report. But I'm going to go again here with who I trust in this situation. And I do think Gunnar Stockton can be good. I'm taking Georgia to win this football game. But I think it's a close game as well. And I think that, was it 6.5? I think it's 6.5. Yeah. I'm going to take Georgia. No, it's 3.5. Okay, it's down to 3.5. I apologize. That sounds about right. I'm going to take Tennessee to keep it close, but I'm not going to go against Georgia here. Tennessee's got to prove it to me that they can beat Georgia. I've lost count how many straight years, but Tennessee looks good. They're a good football team, but I think Georgia finds a way to pull it out at the very end. All right, next up, let's go over to a game that not many are talking about, but there's an interesting little storyline baked into this game. This one, Duke is headed to Tulane. This is, where's my kickoff time? I haven't lost my thing here. Uh-oh, sorry about that. Let me pull it up real fast. I think this is an evening game. Hang tight. Yeah, 7 o'clock, ESPN2. Duke is a 1.5 point favorite. Duke's quarterback, obviously, Mensah, is a Tulane transfer. He got that big $8 million contract and took off to Duke and left Tulane behind. But Tulane's doing fine with Jake Retzlaff, the BYU transfer. 413 yards a game. They're rushing for 255. Defense is allowing 329 a game. Duke's offense is not a problem. They just got to not turn the ball over like we saw against Illinois. 493 a game, 372 through the air. This is a tough one. Duke's defense is struggling, though, 111th in scoring defense. Turnover margin, Tulane is at +6, and Duke is -6. Turnover margin, as we know, is huge. Tulane, another team that's at 100% in the red zone currently. Jake Retzlaff, 277, 2 scores on the young season. Mensah's thrown for 723, 5 touchdowns, 1 pick for Duke. I think this is going to be a good ball game, but I really like where Tulane is right now. I think they're a tremendously good football team. They're good in the trenches. I like their D-line. I'm going to take Tulane. Duke's favored by 1.5, but I'm going to take Tulane to win this game. I think Tulane gets it done and gets the win over another Power 4 school, I might add. All right, next up, let's head to South Florida for a game that some of us probably was not expecting to be this big of a game, but here we are. We got Miami hosting South Florida. This is a 3:30 kickoff on the CW network. Why in the world is it on the CW? I'll never understand. But TV contracts. The line has changed. As I say that, Miami went from 17.5 to 15.5, so it's dropped 2 whole points. Byron Brown has played really well for the Bulls at quarterback. Impressed with what Carson Beck's done. I like what Miami has on the offensive line. South Florida's got some good talent at linebacker and DB. But to me, this is a tough spot for USF to be in. 3 straight weeks against 3 straight ranked opponents. But hey, they won the first 2. Can they do it again? I like where Miami is. I'm going to take Miami to win this game, but I think it's a really close game. I think that 15.5 is a little crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if it was about a 10-point game. But I think this is where South Florida's juice might run down just a little bit. All right, next up, let's take a peek at an SEC game. We've got Vandy at South Carolina. This is a 6:45 kickoff on the SEC network. The line currently is South Carolina at 5.5. Here we go. South Carolina, though, struggling on offense right now. They're 118th in overall. They're 106 passing, 102nd rushing, 56 scoring. Defense is 25th in the scoring, 57 overall, 33rd against the run. Vandy's look good. 485 a game on offense, 254 passing, 231 rushing, 44.5 points. Their defense is 5th in the country right now in total defense. I know Charleston Southern kind of helped with that, but it's always fun when these two get together. Let's see. Time of possession, South Carolina's averaging 25.5 minutes. Vanderbilt's averaging 32 minutes. So look for some ball control in this game. I think it's going to be low scoring between these two. I think it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a good atmosphere. Would not be shocked at all if Vanderbilt won this game. But again, I'm going to trust South Carolina here and say that they get the win. And I think this is a close game. I think it's 20-17 kind of a feel, or 24-20 kind of feel. But I'm going to take South Carolina to win the game. All right, next up. I wasn't going to do this game, but I think this is for some reason a very intriguing game. It's a late game. We've got Cal in Minnesota. This game is on ESPN at 9:30. Minnesota's a 1.5 point favorite. Gophers playing really good defense. Cal's offense, though, very impressive through the air, 260 yards a game. Let's see, their defense is 14th against the run, but Minnesota is 37th in rushing offense. Could be a very, very fun game, but I'm going to go with this. This is one of my upset picks of the week. Now, 1.5 may not be that big of an upset, but I think Cal finds a way to win this football game at home and gets off to a surprising 3-0 start. I'm going to take the Golden Bears. All right, next up, let's head to Oxford. We've got Ole Miss to Arkansas, 6 o'clock kickoff. This game is on ESPN. Y'all know the history of this series since Arkansas has pretty much been in the conference. It's always crazy. There's usually something insane that happens when these two lock up. Ole Miss won last year's game, though, pretty comfortably. That was the rare time it was a very close game. The line keeps dropping on this one, which kind of concerns me. It went from 9, I believe, to now it's 6.5. I'm sorry, 8.5. 8.5. Okay, 8.5. I apologize. Ole Miss 575 yards a game, 317 passing, 257 running. I love the 1-2 tandem of Kewan Lacey and Logan Diggs. 18th in scoring offense, 18th in pass defense. Ole Miss has struggled, though, to stop the run. 181 yards a game allowed right now. And Arkansas is 17th in the country in rushing the ball and 13th passing. Taylor Green's looked really, really good. Arkansas's defense 35th. Let's see. Austin Simmons 576, 3 touchdowns, but 4 interceptions. Austin Simmons is young. He's inexperienced. He's got to get better, obviously, and I still think he will. These shaky starts, though, he'll have to cut them down eventually, and I still believe he will. Harrison Wallace has 247 receiving, a touchdown. There's Kewan Lacey, 246, 4 touchdowns so far rushing. Taylor Green for Arkansas, 561 yards, 10 touchdown passes, and 2 picks in 2 games. I know it was Alabama, A&M, and Arkansas State, but hey, what you see is what you get. This game, I don't think it's going to be, what was it last year, 63-31. It was a beatdown by Ole Miss. That was a much different Ole Miss team. But Oxford's going to be amped up for this one because it's always, like I said, a good series. I'm going to take Ole Miss to win the game, but I'm not going to lie to you as an Ole Miss fan. I'm very nervous about this game. We better not overlook them. We cannot have a bad start. I'm going to take Ole Miss to win, but I think it's a really close game. All right, 2 more games real quick, and then we're going to move over to the NFL. Let's go to South Bend. We've got Notre Dame. We've got Texas A&M. Huge game. NBC kickoff at 6:30. Let me make sure I got the time right. I don't want to tell y'all the wrong time. Yeah, here we go. 6:30, NBC, Texas A&M, Notre Dame. These two played last year. Notre Dame shut A&M down at Kyle Field. This should be fun. The line is a little surprising here. It's 9.5 now in favor of the Irish. Notre Notre Dame's offense. Now, of course, Notre Dame's only played one game. They lost that thriller to Miami. They had 314 yards that night. They only run the ball for 93 yards. Defense gave up 324. A&M's offense, 476 a game in 2 games, 21st through the air, 62nd running. A&M's defense has not played super great. And they struggled against UTSA at times and Utah State. Whew. I think this is a close one. I think this is going to be a good game. I think A&M's better. I think it could come down to the end. Who wins in the trenches? A&M's defensive line, Notre Dame's offensive line. I'm going to say this is a 27-24 game. And I'm going to take Notre Dame to win the game, though, because I still think Notre Dame's really, really good. I think A&M's really good. But as far as where they're at currently, I'll take Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame wins this football game in a very close game. All right. Finally, this one lost some luster, but I'm still going to pick it. We got Florida. We got LSU. This is a 6:30 ABC kickoff. LSU is the favorite at 7.5 points. Understandable. DJ Lagway has not looked that great for Florida right now. Florida looked undisciplined last week. Like I said, double-digit penalties. LSU, the big win over Clemson, sleptwalk against Louisiana Tech. I kind of not surprised, but they really sleptwalked. They only beat La Tech, I think, 23-7. LSU's defense, though, allowing 207 a game right now, only 44 yards rushing. Offensively, not as great. 86th overall, 59th passing, 107th running the ball. But Cade Durham's been a really good, dependable back for the Tigers. I think this is still going to be their game to lose. I think LSU's in a way better place than Florida is right now, obviously, understandably so. I still think LSU is one of the best teams in the country, and I think they can win the national championship. Florida might be doing some soul searching. Billy Napier's seat might be getting hot as hell. Who knows? It's got to be bubbling right now, or at least getting there. But I'm going to take LSU, home atmosphere, Saturday night game. If you've never been to Baton Rouge for a game on a Saturday night, please go. If you're a college football fan, put this on your bucket list. I've been there. It's insane. It's a hell of a time. But I love LSU's defense. Whit Weeks, Harold Perkins. Offensive line was a little bit of a question mark entering the year, but I still think it's going to be fine. LSU wins this football game, and I think they're going to cover that 7.5 point line too. So give me LSU for the win. All right. Next up, before we pick the NFL games, there's some other games on here that I picked, and I'm going to just give them to you real quick. Thursday night, really good game with NC State, Wake Forest. I think the Tobacco Road rivalry is going to be a fun game. Give me NC State. Friday night, Houston, Colorado, Big 12 opener for both of them. Colorado announced supposedly Dion has made the decision to go with, let me make sure I got this name right, because if my understanding, Caden Salter is not starting. Yeah, they're going to go with Ryan Staub as the starting quarterback, who played pretty well against Delaware. But I think Houston wins this football game. Good defense. I know I just kind of talked about K-State and all their problems. I'm calling for a bounce back here against Arizona. That's not a Big 12 game. It's a non-con game. They had this home-and-home schedule before Arizona got to the Big 12. All right, couple more picks, and then we're going to move on to the NFL. That is the wrong picture. I apologize. Here we go. All right, Clemson over GT. I told you that. Georgia. Memphis, Troy. Good G5 game. If you have not seen Troy play, they play pretty good defense. It's not a bad-looking team right now. I've got Memphis on upset alert, but I do think they win the game. Washington State, North Texas. Very sneaky, good matchup. It's so weird seeing Wazoo going to G5 schools, but North Texas is actually favored. This is a really good quarterback battle. These two could sling the ball all over the yard. I'm going to take Wazoo to win the game. Pitt, West Virginia, backyard brawl. Good to see that one continuing. I'm going to take Pitt to win the game. West Virginia got beat by the Ohio Bobcats in the MAC last week. Not a big shock. I picked that upset, but I think Pitt's really good. Miami over South Florida. We talked about that. I got Liberty Bowling Green as an upset alert. Liberty's a 6.5 point favorite, but they do not look good. They struggled to put Maine away, and then they lost to Jacksonville State last week. Bowling Green, obviously Eddie George is the coach there now. and they have an adorable cat. but I think this is a close game. I got Liberty, but wouldn't be shocked. FIU, FAU, the Shula Bowl. Give me the Panthers. I picked Ole Miss to beat Arkansas. Not gonna lie, I'm very nervous. I do have the Rebels on upset alert. Hopefully they prove me wrong. Virginia Tech, Old Dominion. I got VT winning. Y'all know that one. Old Dominion's beat them a couple times. I got LSU over Florida, South Carolina over Vanderbilt, Notre Dame over A&M, Tulane over Duke, and finally Cal pulling a surprise over Minnesota. All right, we're going to take one more quick break, and when we come back, we're going to put a wrap on this with NFL Week 2 predictions, and then we'll get out of here. I'll be back in just a minute.
Look at me, I'm lost at sea, circling eternally. Come and help me from this insanity. Where am I disgrace? I hate to see your face. I wanna see you drown in your sorrow. You know I'm not the same. I'm fading away. I'm falling into my grave.
All right, guys, welcome back to 4th and 25. Our final segment is Week 2 NFL predictions. Let's roll. Thursday night, we got Green Bay and Washington at Lambeau Field. This is going to be fun. A quarterback battle. I expect this to be a really, really good football game. I am going to ride with Jordan Love and the Packers and that defense. I'm going to take Green Bay to win, but would not be shocked if it is close, and I think it will be. Okay. Sunday games. Let's get in that 12 o'clock window. I'm taking the Bengals over the Jaguars. I might be an idiot considering how the Bengals looked in week 1, but maybe they get into form here. They're still, in my opinion, a more talented team. Give me the Cowboys over the Giants in Dallas. Dallas, like I said, I thought they looked good for at least the first half against Philly. I still think they're better than the Giants. The Giants are going to get better, but I'll take the Cowboys here. I say the Lions will bounce back from that disappointing loss to Green Bay and beat the Bears, even though the Bears are soul searching after their own choke job. I'm taking the Rams over the Titans in Nashville. This next one was very difficult, but Miami, they just look so bad. At least the Patriots showed some fight. I'm going to take the Patriots to beat the Dolphins. 49ers Saints, this one, I almost want to tell you is subject to change because George Kittle is out and he's injured, and I don't know if Brock Purdy's going to play. But I'm going to take the Niners just because the Saints are so young and such a mystery right now. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm taking the Niners. I'm going to take the Bills to beat the Jets. Josh Allen has another monster game. I think the Bills win that game. Could be a shootout. Let's see. Seahawks, Steelers. I'm taking the Steelers. They impressed me big time in week 1. I think they get the win at home. And finally, in the early games, I think the Ravens take out their anger and frustrations over what happened in Buffalo by disposing of the Cleveland Browns. And then your late games, we got 3 of them. Broncos and the Colts. I'm going with a little surprise here. Denver's actually a 2-point favorite right here. I'm going to go with the Colts. I think the offense gives Denver some trouble at home. I think Daniel Jones has a good game. I think the Colts win. So give me the Colts. Cardinals, Panthers. I'm going to go with the Cardinals. They are a solid team. I actually have them as a sleeper dark horse playoff contender. So keep an eye on the Cardinals. I'm going to pick them to win the game. Big one, Eagles, Chiefs, Super Bowl rematch. Chiefs really ain't going to start 0-2, are they? Are they? They could. But I'm going to take the Chiefs at home. I think that's a really good game. I think Mahomes wakes up, and I think it's a shootout. But give me the Chiefs. Sunday Night Football, Falcons, Vikings. I think McCarthy found his rhythm. I think the Vikings at home find a way to win it. I think it's going to be a great game, but I'm going to take the Vikings. And then on Monday Night Football, we've got 2 games. Let me find the picture real quick. There it is. Monday Night Football, we've got 2 games. We got a doubleheader. Excited for this. 6 o'clock, Bucks, Texans, you see in Houston. I'm going to roll with Mayfield and the Bucks to get the win on the road. I feel better about them right now. And then, excuse me, and the final game of the night, Chargers over the Raiders in the AFC West clash. I think the Chargers are still a little bit more reliable. They run the ball better. Ashton Jennings got to get going. He might, and he can. But I'm going to take the Chargers. So, all right. One more time, and then we'll get ready to close this thing out. Packers on Thursday. You see the Sunday games right here and the Monday night games. Oh, great show, guys. Great show. Good timing, good pace. And real quick, this actually just broke. This caught my attention. SEC coaches expressed support Wednesday for the proposed move of the portal window to January, arguing it's the best option even if it conflicts with the playoff schedule. LSU coach Brian Kelly, I'm sorry, there's no crying on the yacht, said Wednesday during the weekly SEC teleconference. I mean, we got to get this thing set in the best position at this time to allow us to set our rosters moving forward. I think that might have been a shot at Ryan Day. But anyway, great show, guys. I've had a blast. I'm blown away that I got 26 of you to watch this. That is awesome. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank y'all. We'll be back next week with our regularly scheduled programming. We will recap the Week 2 NFL slate, and we'll recap the biggest college games like we've been doing. But thank you guys so much. This has been so much fun. As always, we're going to close this thing out with a Bible verse, because I'm a believer in Christ. I walk with him. Colossians 3:1. If ye then be risen with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ sitteth on the right hand of God. Yes, sir. Thank you, Lord, for allowing me to do this, because this is something I love doing. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all have a great Wednesday. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves, and God bless.